Aren't you loving being locked down at home? Isn't it fun putting on these silly masks and going out to stores? Don't you love using all that sanitizer and getting yourself all clean like that? Those are all examples of sarcasm. And while we have a common enemy like this virus, it's kind of fun, right? The fascinating thing is there's always truth in every joke. And when we have a common enemy, somebody that is inanimate like this virus, where it really doesn't matter, we can joke around like that. However, when it is a person, when it is somebody that we want to collaborate with, we have to be very careful of things like sarcasm or passive aggressiveness or making jokes where there's embedded little bits of humor. Think about it for a second. When you say to somebody like, hey, let's, in the middle of a meeting, let's thank Joe for gracing us with his presence. Or after a organizational event, to say, hey, I want to thank everybody for staying around afterwards to help me clean up when they didn't. Sarcasm is a very powerful form of humiliation, but it's embedded within irony and humor, but it's really intended to take a shot at somebody. The fascinating thing is that the root of sarcasm within the Greek talks about tearing flesh. And so sarcasm is a very powerful put down. Probably, again, being passive aggressive to make the person that is leveling the sarcasm feel better in themselves because aren't they smart? But be very careful, because if you want a high performance environment, you need to provide an environment of psychological safety. Because in psychological safety, where people feel safe, they take greater risks. They're being more of themselves. They contribute, they collaborate better. But if you want to put people on edge, if you want to make them feel unsafe, use sarcasm. Because you certainly wouldn't want them to perform at their best, would you now? So be careful today, you as a leader and you as a teammate, to not use sarcasm to embed within it some kind of criticism. Rather, speak candidly with other people, help them to understand the things that are important, not only to you, but to the team. And if you're going to give them praise so that they can tell the difference between the praise and the criticism or the constructive feedback. But don't embed some criticism or trying to send a message to them within something that's intended to be humorous, because it puts people on edge, it makes them feel uncertain, it makes them feel unsafe, and they tend to hold back. So if you're prone to using sarcasm, be aware of it today. And cause yourself to have a check in your spirit every time you say something that would be sarcastic, that maybe it's doing more damage than good.